Okay. Was anybody successful in drawing that triangle? Now, before we do this, we should talk a little bit about, because I've had kids do this before, and they'll draw their two right angles right here, and they'll say, these are right angles. And then they'll go like this and like this and say, look it, there's 1, 2, 3 sides. The problem with this drawing is that a true polygon, which a triangle is a polygon that has 3 sides. Polygons have to have a shape that's fully enclosed. That means that every line connects or intersects, and all the lines have to be straight. So I didn't make a straight line. So a circle is not a polygon. In fact, the definition of a polygon means, poly means many, and gon means angles, many angles. Okay? A triangle has 3 angles, 3 sides, 3 angles. A quadrilateral has 4 sides, 4 angles. We're going to focus completely today on triangles. Okay? Yes?
I have one.
No, you don't. It is impossible. It needs to be 3-sided. You can't do it. It's not possible. Does anybody know why we can't draw a triangle with 2 angles that are 90 degrees? Anybody know why? Yeah. If you do, you'll make a square. There's an actual mathematical property about triangles that that hits this piece. Does anybody know? Have you ever heard what is the sum of all 3 of the angles in a triangle equal to? Does anybody know? No. The sum of all angles in a triangle is equal to 180. $180, which is why we can't do it, because if you have 2 right angles, where are you at right there? We're at 180 right there. That's why you can't do it. Okay? So the sum of all angles in a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a scalene triangle, an isosceles triangle, an equilateral triangle. Okay? Doesn't matter if it's a right triangle, an obtuse triangle, or an acute triangle. All of those triangles, every triangle that you can make, all of the angles will add up to 180 degrees. Works every single time. That's something that everyone has to know. Everyone has to know that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Everybody understand that? Okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to determine missing angle measures within triangles. We should also be able to name every single triangle, and we'll do that. We'll do a little bit of practice as we go through this today. But that's the key piece. That's why we can't draw a triangle with 2 right angles. And obviously we can't draw a triangle. If you notice when I went through and talked about an obtuse triangle, it has 1 angle that's greater than 90. The other 2 have to be acute. And the sum of all 3 of them will automatically be equal to 180. What's that? So let's go back and review a little bit from yesterday. Can we solve for this angle X when given this information? Everybody do that real quickly. I'll give you a sec. Okay, ice. Shh. What do we get for an answer?
28.
Why? And shh. Tell me, why is it 28? Yep, we know it's 90 because of this symbol right here. So the grand total of both of them has to be 90. So what you do?
I did 90 minus 62.
Okay? What type of angles are these? Two angles that add up to 90 degrees are considered what? I'll tell you what, it's not sup. Thank you. Did you hear that? I love when people answer questions and they ask a question. Is it like complementary? Yes, it is exactly complementary. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Okay? Here's the next one for us. I'll give you a second to solve this one. X is equal to 58 degrees. Ice, please, and quiet. You're done talking to your partners. Notice that I did label this correctly with the degrees. That's the way we need. It's not just 58, it's 58 degrees. Otherwise, we could be talking about 58 anything. 58 Oreo cookies, I don't know. Now, who can tell me why is it 58 degrees? Yeah.
Because that is an angle of 180, straight angle. And so anyways, that's 122. So 180 minus 122 is 58 degrees.
Because this grand total right here is 180. Okay? If we started on our snowboard facing this way and we flipped it all the way around to the other, or we would consider that going from right here to right here a 180, right? Make sense? And it's exactly half of a full circle. What do you think a full circle has to measure? If half of it's 180, what does the full thing have to measure? 360. Everybody good with that? Okay. One more. One more, do it. $49 degrees because 90 subtract 41 is a grand total of 49. 49 degrees. We would call these two, what math term would we call it? These two angles, when they're together, are called what type of angles? They're actually adjacent because they're right next to each other, but they are complementary because complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Okay? Now we're going to get into our very first triangle of the day. Can we find that missing value? What is the measure of angle X? The measure of angle X. I see a lot of kids with their hands in the air already. I like that. I'm going to give you a few more seconds. All right. Shh. The measure of angle X is equal to 40 degrees. And it's 40 degrees because
all the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180.
that's right. 105 plus 35 plus whatever X is equal to should be 180 degrees because every triangle will add up to 180 degrees. All three of their angles added together, the sum of their angles is equal to 180 degrees. So when we combine the two that we know, and kids, this is what it's going to look like in your math textbook. If you watch something on the internet, if you watched a video on this, they would show this equation right here, 105, which represents this, plus 35, which represents that, plus the measure of X, which is that, is equal to 180. we can combine the two numbers that we know to make it 140 plus whatever x is 180. And if we're going to do this algebraically, we want to get x by itself, right? So we'd have to discount 140 from this side, and whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. And that's why x is equal to 40 degrees. All right, we're going to take it a step further. We talked about the 6 ways to name triangles. Can someone tell me what type of triangle is this according to its angle measures? What type of triangle is this according to its angle measures? What type of triangle is this according to its angle measure? Yes, ma'am? Nope, it's not supplementary is not one of the types. I'll give you a hint. There's 3 kinds according to their angles. You could have a acute little triangle. You could have a right triangle, or you can have an obtuse triangle. It's one of those 3. Now you have a 1 in 3 chance. That's 33 and 1/3% chance of getting this right. What do you think it is, ma'am? It's not acute. I know that these 2 right here are acute, but this one right here is not acute. What kind of angle is this right here? Obtuse. A triangle that has one obtuse angle in it is considered an obtuse triangle. Shh. Now I want to tell you something else that I know. I'll wait until everyone's quiet. Shh. I'll wait until everyone's quiet and all eyes are here. Still waiting for eyes. Thank you. Put them down. Eyes here. Thank you. Still waiting. I know that when I have 3 different angle measures, that means my sides have to be 3 different lengths. If I have an isosceles triangle, that has 2 sides that are the same. An isosceles triangle will have 2 angles that are congruent or the same. Because all 3 of these angles are different in size, that means my side lengths are going to be different. What type of triangle has 3 sides that are not the same? 3 sides that are not the same. Yes? Scalene. Do you know how she got that answer? She actually wrote down something that I said earlier, didn't you? And you were referring back to her note. Wow, it's an amazing thing. She wrote down that a scalene triangle has 0 sides that are the same.
Hallelujah.
Shh.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Next drawing. Shh. Can you find the value of x? Can you tell me what is the value of what is the measure, that's m, of angle x? The measure of angle x is, and can you tell me why it's 25 degrees? Every triangle adds up to 180. So you did 100 degrees, which is this angle right here, plus 55 degrees, which is this angle right here, plus x, and it needs to equal a grand total of 180. So we have, when we combine these two that we have 155 plus what number gives us 180? And the answer is 25. Now, most kids did 180 subtract 155. Okay? Now, according to angle measure, what type of triangle is this? According to angle measure, what kind of triangle is this? According to angle measure, what kind of triangle is this? It is obtuse because of that 100 degree right there. The other 2 are acute. Okay? Now, all 3 angles are different sizes, So what do we know about the lengths of their sides? It's scalene, and scalene means all three sides are different. Okay? All three sides are different. Very good. Next one. Man, we keep getting these obtuse triangles, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
What is the measure of angle X? What do we get, class?
30 degrees.
30 degrees. Why? Because 115 plus 35 is a grand total of 150. That means we need 30 more. X is equal to 30 degrees. Okay? Oh, and now we're going to combine what we did yesterday
Let's go.
and what we have for today.
Thank you.
So your job is to tell me what is the measure of angle A when given that this measures 80 degrees and this one outside here measures 138 degrees. And then can you name this triangle? What type of triangle is it? Not only by the lengths of its sides, but also by the measure of its angles. Let's see if you can get the full meal deal here. Okay? Just talk about before we begin. Without this information over here, we can't solve the problem unless they tell us that this is an isosceles triangle and that these two angles have to be congruent. If that were the case, then I would know that 180 is my total. I have 80 taken care of. If this were truly an isosceles triangle, both of these angles would measure 50 degrees. Okay? But they don't, because this is a key factor right here. This measure right here of 138 degrees gives us a big hint as to what this piece is right there. Everybody see the supplementary angles between the two?
Yeah.
Can we figure out what this angle, it's called angle C in this triangle, can we tell what angle C is based off of this 138 degrees? What would we do? What would we do? Yeah.
Wait, what? No, that would be like 2.
That's not quite going to work. We need to take this 138 and do something with it. Sure, if we take 180 degrees, because we know that this grand total here is 180, and we subtract 138, this difference right here, this answer, will give us this angle measure right there. So that will give us a grand total of 42 degrees. So this angle measure is 42 degrees. Now that we have two of the three angle measures, can we determine the measure of angle A? What will we need to do to find the measure of angle A? Yeah. Add 80
to 42.
and 42, and we get 122 degrees. So these two together make up 122, and then you said subtract 180, subtract 122. We won't subtract by 180, we'll subtract 122 from 180, right? Okay. And we get 58 degrees. So this one has to be 58 degrees. What type of triangle do we have?
Oh,
It's a scalene.
alien.
It's scalene because all three angles are different. That means all three sides. And then how else can we name it? Yep. Acute, because every one of the angles are less than 90 degrees. Okay? So those are all the things that you're going to be expected to be able to do for today. We're going to try one more. All right, what's the measure of angle X? Go ahead, class. It's 55 degrees. Why?
Oh, because you do 90 plus 35.
When we add up all three of the angle measures, we should get a grand total of 180 degrees. These two together give us a grand total of 125. Therefore, we need 55 degrees. What type of triangle is this? It's a right triangle. What else do we know about it?
Acute.
No, it's a right. But then according to its lengths of sides, what does it have to be? Yeah.
It has to be scaling.
It is scaling. Okay. Can you make a right triangle that's isosceles? Can we make a right triangle that's isosceles? What do the two angle measures have to be? Yeah, the same. Okay, so what do we need to do to get to 180?
80 and 80 and 20 degrees.
We have a 90-degree angle right here, and then we have to have those two sides that are the exact same. What do these two have to be? They have to be the same measure. Yeah. These two together have to equal 90 degrees, right? So if they have to be the same, thank you, it has to be 45 degrees. 45 degrees. 45 degrees. And this is 90. 90 and 90 is a grand total of 180. That would give us an isosceles right triangle. Oh, and look at, we get one more. Let's try it. The measure of angle J. The measure of angle J. You're 53, I believe, is 10 too high.
43.
I think it's 43. Now, what did you get for this angle measure right here? What did you get for this angle measure right here? No, what did you put? Okay, here's why. This angle 85 is for this one right here, not for the one that we need. We need to combine this one and this one together to make 180. So if we take 180 and discount 85, that will give us this angle measure right here. Okay? And that's a grand total of 95 degrees. Now, if that one measures 95 degrees, and we have 42 right here, the other one has to be 43 degrees. And that's about as difficult as it's going to get. We talked about this. These two angles have to be the same. Okay? So if we take, I'll wait. It is isosceles. Ice here. Ice here. Still waiting. You're not going to get your homework assignment until you're quiet. The grand total is 180. We can subtract 115. That's the one that we know. If we have two congruent sides, that means that we are going to have two congruent angles. So when I subtract these two, I know that I have to take this 65. This measure is half of 65. This measure is half of 65. Angle Y, the measure of angle Y does have to equal half of 65, which is 32.5 degrees. This one is 32.5 degrees. Okay? So our homework assignment for today. Page 346 and 347. 346, 347. And we are going to do numbers 9 through 25 odd.
You like odds or feelings?